Happening right now, Mayor Adams is delivering remarks at an affordable housing groundbreaking in the Bronx.
I'm still a beginner, but just a reminder of how uniquely spectacular this community is. And I'm really proud to talk about this project, but first I want to acknowledge the leadership we have representing this area, because they're making a true difference every single day. I'll be introducing the mayor in a minute, but I'll get you, Mayor. But Vanessa Gibson, you took over in a tremendously challenging time. You're literally on the job just a couple of weeks last January. And when I saw you in the aftermath of a horrific fire that destroyed the lives of our residents, our citizens, our brothers and sisters, you were there with such heart and compassion. And I know that your new constituents respond to you, and they so appreciate the way you govern. And I thank you for being an amazing partner to myself and the people of the state of New York as well. Let's give it up for Vanessa Gibson. So I remember LaToya Joyner. I think this is my third day in a row with you as well. She is everywhere. She was up in the North Country, and her responsibility as chair of the Labor Committee, speaking to labor, and saw you in the Bronx, and I don't know where I saw you yesterday. I saw you all over the place yesterday. So our disabilities, it was the 32nd anniversary of the American with Disabilities Act. So you are everywhere. You're trying to rival the governor for travel, but that's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a great state. And also to have Ruth Ann Visnauskas. When I see her in an event, I know that HCR is backing it, that we are transforming people's lives. And 8 years as lieutenant governor, I think I saw you more than I saw my husband during that time, because you were out there at so many events all over the state, bringing people the dignity of a home over their heads. And so I also want to thank Dr. Petit. This took vision to look at a building that was literally crumbling before our eyes and say, this can be reborn. And yes, you did shoot for the stars. And I know that in a couple years, when this is complete and people are welcomed home to this site, it'll be because of people like you and everyone at your organization who've done such a spectacular job. And Samantha, I'm going to get it right, Magistro? Okay, because I know how it is, your name gets screwed up. It happens to me a lot, okay? The Chief Executive Officer of Bronx Pro, thank you for making this happen. And everybody, it does take a large community to pull off a project like this, and I look forward to seeing the evolution of this. But I do talk about the Bronx a lot. Why do I do that? Because I'm from Buffalo. And what is the connection? Well, when I speak to my friends in the Bronx I've gotten to know over the last decade, there's sort of a simpatico feeling, because both of our communities have been, I'm going to say, underestimated, sometimes disrespected, not given the credit we're due for the uniqueness and the vitality of it. So as I've come to the Bronx countless times, probably hundreds of times, I really do want to help lift this community up and remind people that you have something so unique here. You have beautiful attractions, you have waterfronts, you have a world-class botanical gardens I've gotten lost in. The zoo is amazing, your educational institutions, but most importantly, the people who never gave up on this community. You fought back through some tough times, whether it was reputationally, some tough movies that kind of defined this area for a long time, and we all knew that that was not the Bronx we know and love. And people who live in the Bronx have that sense of a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, you got something to prove, and my God, you are proving it. Because people want to live in the Bronx. This is the hot property of this city. And I'm so excited that we're here to do something to address a challenging problem that is everywhere. But affordability, the cost of housing, is a barrier for so many people to be able to offer their own children a better outlook in life. So we are here today to address that crisis, and something that I believe strongly in as an individual who has put a lot of money behind this, because it's not going to happen without real investment from government. This won't happen on its own. And that's why I'm working so hard every single day to make sure that the $25 billion, 25 with a B, billion dollars we're putting toward 100,000 affordable housing, projects like that happen right here in the Bronx. So that's exactly what we're doing here today. We were doing many affordable housing projects. We were just, I was just in Co-op City a couple months ago, $621 million that's going to be reinvested into, preserve affordable home ownership. We are also going to focus on the other projects. It was literally just a couple days ago when I was announcing that we have new projects here, more affordable housing. And also, There's one I just want to mention. I just not seen it. We were just here literally a week ago to announce another 174 projects, units coming here soon. So that's what I'm focused on, and I want to let people know that right now 60% of Bronx households are rent burdened. What does that mean? They spend more than 30% of their income on rent. Well, just earlier this week, I was talking about how people are spending 30 to 40% of their income on childcare. So add that up. You're someone trying to pay for rent, and you got a couple of kids who need childcare because you need to have a job to pay for this. It doesn't add up. It does not add up. And people are so overburdened today with the high cost of living, everything going up and up and up. So what we can do as real partners is to provide the facilities, the location, support people, but also just say, you in the private sector, we're going to do this with you. And that's what I'm really excited about with this project. So here's what we're talking about. Over 326 new affordable apartments right here in Morris Heights. 326. This is phase one. It's going to help address our chronic shortage of high-quality homes. But also very important to me, over 200 of these homes are going to be for people who've been homeless, who experienced some of life's challenges, whether it's substance abuse or mental health challenges. They'll be able to get the supportive services, not by trying to travel across town and go see somebody who might be able to help them someday, maybe in between their jobs, but right here on site. That, to me, is transformative. That's how we help people who just, life's a little bit too hard for them sometimes, and they need a helping hand. And that's what we do with projects like this, just lift them up. And that's why this is going to be so successful. And as Dr. Petit mentioned, the site of this really speaks to what has happened here throughout the history of this site, taking care of people in need, whether they were the cancer patients, whether they're people who needed additional services up until the last couple of years. And now to be reimagined as a beautiful site that is going to be a home, but also walking spaces and places to exercise and get their lives feeling so vibrant again. We also last week announced the construction at 1761 Walton on Mount Hope. That's a $55 million project with 103 projects. We have invested over $1.6 billion over the last day, $1.6 billion in over 16,000 units here. And I'll say we're just getting warmed up. Then we're nowhere near done. We have a lot to do, but this is an important start to make sure that hardworking New Yorkers can stay in their homes. I'll also say that our budget, and thank you for recognizing our historic investments in human services, in people, investments in people. We also put $800 million toward the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. What is that? It helps people from losing their homes because they could not make the rent payments. We also have subsidies for people to help with their fair housing testing and education, legal assistance for people who are on the verge of being evicted. So we have a holistic approach, all of it geared toward one purpose, giving people the dignity of a beautiful home and allowing them to stay there. So we're going to continue working together. I'm very excited to be here today, joined by another individual, a partner in government, who shares the same values that I do, that people deserve to live in a clean, safe, healthy environment that is a basic human right of everyone, but particularly here in New York, where in my State of the State, we spoke about people came to here. People come from all over to enjoy and understand the promise behind the American dream. We offer people in this state the New York dream. This is part of making that dream come true. So thank you to everyone involved. Mayor Adams, take it away.
Thank you, Governor, for your understanding that from Buffalo Avenue in Brooklyn to Buffalo, New York, to the Grand Concourse, to South Jamaica, Queens, we must reinvest in our city and state. This is another step forward, and I just want to thank my colleagues in government, the Councilwoman and Borough President, but also my amazing team members, the Commissioner of HBD, Adolfo Carrion, and my Chief Housing Officer, Jessica Katz, who brought just so much vision and energy to this real pursuit of giving people the housing that they deserve. And when you think about it, this hole in the ground, once it's completed, it's going to fill the hole in the hearts of people who felt as though this city did not belong to them. It's going to give them an opportunity, a vision of hope. This is a day of hope. And phase one of the Star Hill development is delivering affordable homes to New Yorkers. And this is how we change lives. I think you're right. A house is more than four walls where people enter. It is a precursor to sleep that allows you to experience the American dream. And too many people are living the perpetual nightmare of not believing that they're part of the American dream. And we're saying today with the 326 apartments that you are part of the American dream. That kitchen is a place where you sit down and talk about your first day to college. The sofa is where you share the living room experience of watching a movie or talking about a difficult time. You sit by the sink and learn how to cook your first meal with your family member, or being tucked in at night and your family member, mom or dad, just read a story to you. Those memories are real, and those memories are not real when you're living on the street or you're living in from shelter to shelter to shelter, or you don't get the support that you deserve. This is a mission of hope and opportunity. And today we are fulfilling our obligations to do so. And the 200 apartments for family and people impacted by substance abuse is a real issue. As I walked through the streets of Harlem the other day with Shams LeBaron, the homeless advocate, and saw the number of people living on the streets. And as we talk to them, they're dealing with real mental health illnesses and substance abuse concerns. And so I'm really proud as I look over the numbers. The 45 for extremely low and very low income New Yorkers. We contributed $30 million as a city in capital funding to this project. This is where our money should go. This is where taxpayers' dollars should go, because we know that a safe, stable, and affordable housing is fundamental to the prosperity and enjoyment of this city. And I agree with the governor. For far too long, the Bronx has been denied. And we have to be honest about that. And the governor stated she was up here several times during last week and this week, and I was up here with Vanessa and her, other elected several times, really focusing in on these areas that were historically denied. And it's more than just housing, it's a second chance. It helps to reclaim lives and reclaim hope and prosperity, and we know that the permanent housing can transform lives, and that's what this mission is about, and nothing does it better than supportive housing. It just makes sense. When those who are in need of supportive housing use the emergency room as their primary care, that just costs too much. When we wait until they are going through some form of mental health crisis, instead of preventing the crisis, that is just not economically sound. And so the work you're doing is not only personal, but it's profitable. It's putting the health and well-being of your clients and the clients of the city on the front line, in the front of our minds. And so improving the streetscape and recreational areas, this is just our way of saying we are going to partner together to get stuff done. Clean, safe, affordable housing. We are at an opportune time where we have a governor that has the vision throughout this entire state, and local electeds who are identifying locations within their geographical areas and say, here's where the partnership takes place. Community, public, private partnerships. Those are the winning deals that allows us to fill this hole. And when we fill that hole, we're going to fill the hole in the hearts of people who deserve better. Thank you very much. I want to bring up a good friend.